Okay, so today we're going to talk about why you want to build a range into your quote that you're providing for your consulting client. Now, what do I mean by a range? Now, typically when you start with a consulting client, you're going to be providing them some type of hourly rate. That's usually the question that you're going to get asked at some point during the conversation with a client. They're going to ask you, all right, well, what's your rate? Now, of course, you could have a rate that's hourly, you could have a weekly rate, you could have a project-based rate, you could have a value rate. This video is going to focus just on hourly rate. This is going to be the majority of folks that are getting into consulting, and the folks that are mainly working in consulting work on an hourly basis. It's the most common method that you're going to encounter. Now, when you provide a range, you're actually going to provide a low-end range and a high-end range. And the reason for this is multifold. The first reason is because it depends on the job that you're doing. And second, it also sets a price anchor for your client to kind of base themselves off of. And so let me give you an example. If I have a client that wants to hire me to do some type of development work, perhaps they may even want to hire me to mentor their team and do some training and so forth. Or perhaps they just want me to perform some type of staff augmentation. And again, staff augmentation is when you just join the team and perform some work for the team, just as a regular team member would. So let's just say I was going to be a staff augmentation all the way up to a team lead or a mentor. Now, both of those roles have completely different value propositions and have completely different kind of responsibilities. So based upon that, I might provide a quote back to the client informing them, hey, if you're going to hire me for staff augmentation, then perhaps my rate might be at $125 an hour. If you'd like to hire me for a team lead or a mentor, that's going to be at $175 an hour. Now, here's the key. The client is always going to want the lower rate because that's just a smart business decision for them. If they can get you at a lower rate, they can save more money. It's just a smart business move. So you need to be happy with that small rate. The smaller, I mean the lower end of the scale of your range. And so that range at this point is $125 up to $175. Again, $175 being the upper limit where you're going to be the team lead or the mentor, and $125 being the low end where you're going to be staff augmentation. Now the client's going to push for $125. You're going to want the higher end. You have to figure out exactly what they want through asking them questions and just interviewing the client. If they perhaps want you to do a little bit of mentoring, perhaps maybe you can meet somewhere in the middle. Maybe it's $150 an hour and so forth. But you need to be able to stand up for yourself and request the rates and hold firm on those rates if they're actually wanting you to do these additional things of work. So if they want you to lead the team and mentor, you need to stick to your guns and say, hey, this is going to be $175 an hour. If they just want you to be staff augmentation, where you're coming in just doing feature work and developing and working 8 hours and leaving and that's it, then that's going to be the $125 rate. So what it is, the price anchor point now is by setting the rate up at $175, it's almost like sticker shock. It kind of acts like, whoa, that's crazy. We are not paying you $175. That's way more than what we thought we were going to, we wanted you at. Maybe perhaps they were thinking they were going to get you at $90 or $100 an hour. But what happens is there's some psychology with price anchoring. If you take a look at it, it sets the high end at $175. Now all of a sudden $125 looks like a good deal because you were at $175. We're getting $50 off of that at $125. So at that point, they might try to get you for $125. Now again, there could be complications you're going to run into. So if you do run into the situation where your client is trying to get you to do more work and the different responsibilities for a lower rate, that's something you need to stand up for and say, hey, the agreed upon contract and agreed upon hourly rate is X, and here's what I'm supposed to do for X. If you'd like me to do additional, let's renegotiate this contract and move it up. Or perhaps we can introduce some other type of fee structure temporarily to kind of help cover these mentoring costs for maybe a short period of time in which you're going to do that. So again, we're going to want to cover when you are consulting and when you have your contract, you'll want to provide a range based upon the services that you're doing and providing. A lot of the times the clients are very vague. They have in mind that you're going to do X, Y, and Z for them. Maybe they think you're going to do all the mentoring and the development, But that does require more work, more input from you, more preparation as compared to just doing regular, maybe development work if you're a software engineer. Or maybe you're a copywriter and you're going to train a bunch of copywriters or just write the copy itself. It really depends on what you're doing. So make sure you have a high end and a low end. The high end sets the price anchor. The low end is the bare minimum. And it's also going to be something you have to be happy with because they're going to aim for that low value. So if they do decide to choose that low value, it should be a value that you're completely happy with and you can move forward on the contract. I hope that helps. I'll catch you next time.